Hello Wonderland. It has been a while since my last video. I do apologize. It's been kind of a busy / crazy month or so. I took a trip down to Florida, which I do pretty regularly because my job is down there actually. I work remotely here in Virginia. But even though I do a lot on those trips, I really don't usually make content while I'm down there, and I don't know why. I guess because a lot of the stuff I do is, catching up with friends and family, and I don't want to film while I'm with people usually. But yeah, saw some good stuff. This trip, I always go back down this time of year for the start of Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Orlando. One of my favorite things, my favorite time of year. So I got some shots there that maybe I'll throw in here if I can. Went to some nature stuff. I like to say hello to the local flora and fauna while I'm down there, as there's obviously things down there that we don't have up here, and vice versa. And I miss some of the stuff down there, like gators, a lot of the wading birds. So yeah, did a few little hikes, nature drives. There's some good wildlife drives down there. Anyway, I'm rambling already. And then I went and had a car accident last week. So that made for a pretty hectic week. I'm fine. I got a little burn on my arm from the airbag. That was it. That was my first car accident in 33 years of driving, which pretty good stretch there. But yeah, my car was not so fine, so I had to quickly arrange to find a replacement, and I found a pretty good deal on one, I think. Hope it's not too good a deal somehow. But yeah, so that's taken up some time over these past few weeks. But now, finally, back to normal. And I didn't want to get too out of the habit of making videos. So I've come out this morning to Pocahontas State Park, which is my nearest and largest state park in the state. And I'm hoping the timing is good, because we actually had a tropical storm, Ophelia, go through yesterday. And it's getting into migration time. So often when a storm comes through, you get migration fallout. So the birds that are passing through run for cover when the weather gets rough. So some good forests here in this park, obviously, and some water sources. So I'm hoping that I'll see some maybe unusual stuff today. With my luck, I will not, but we'll see how it goes. At any rate, it's nice to be out. Good to be seen. Yeah. So, okay, I've parked. I'm starting a little connector trail to get into the heart of the park. And we'll see what we see. Stay tuned. This might not be a long video today. I'm kind of hoping not, actually. But, yeah, hoping to see some neat stuff. Let's do it. Oh, and I'm traveling fairly light today. As you can see, I've got the R7 with the 100 to 500 millimeter on my tripod with gimbal, so I'm definitely hoping for birds today. And in my bag, I've just got the 14 to 35 and the 100 millimeter macro in case I see any good plants, flowers, bugs, whatever. Yeah. And I have the 1.4 teleconverter in case I see something further off. For the 100 to 500. Yeah. Okay. On we go. I see something interesting to start out with. So this stuff down here is called club moss. I think it's more related to ferns than moss. But anyway, it's neat. It's a neat plant. I like it a lot. I like the color. I like the texture. I like everything about it. It doesn't really flower, I don't think, but it's nice. But in the distance there, you can see there's a tree with fungus around the base. I think the combination of the club moss and the fungus behind it would be kind of neat. So I'm going to try to get a shot of that. Try to find an interesting composition. See how it comes out. You're probably looking at it. So yeah, that's where we begin. When you're a photographer, I think light is the first thing you notice and think about. when you're out and about. So before you start looking for scenes and compositions, you're thinking about what the light is like. So today, the sky is basically one huge softbox for me, which is great. It's overcast. It's not raining. I think the rain is all done from the storm, but it's very moist. Still water dripping out of the trees and stuff. But the sky itself, just one big sheet of cloud. And the sun's up there rising. So not dealing with any shadows. It's nice and even, but it's not strong light. So when I'm shooting the 100 to 500, and especially if I'm looking for birds that are probably going to be in the trees and in shadow, I kind of already know I'm going to be shooting fairly high ISO. And that's okay these days. I've been getting good results going up to even 12,800, 25,600 occasionally at horror nights where it's dark. Obviously, I was shooting a lot at 25,600, which I never would have done in the past. And, you know, to be fair, those shots don't clean up perfectly. Even in, I'm using DxO Pure Raw 2 to remove noise, and it does a great job on lower ISO. It does a good job on really high ISO, but there's no getting rid of that noise. It's just on the image from the sensor, you know, kind of baked in, and a lot of the detail is already kind of lost. So it does what it can, and it looks good, it looks usable, but you're not going to get noiseless shots at that high of an ISO, no matter what, I don't think. Maybe I could try Topaz and see if that does any better, but pretty happy with what I get from Pure Raw so far. Anyway, all this to say, the 100 to 500 being a 7.1 at the long end definitely means I'll be shooting high ISO if I find any wee critters in the shadows of the trees. So we keep that in mind. Another YouTuber I follow is a guy named Brent Hall, who lives out in New Mexico. Seems like a good guy. But he recently sold his 100 to 500 millimeter, which, like me, he says is his favorite lens of all time. And I was like, what the heck? But he did it to get a 500 millimeter f4 prime, which is EF mount. They haven't come out with the RF version yet, I don't believe. But yeah, so I get the frustration though at 500 millimeters. 7.1 is not great. He also sold his 800 millimeter f11 to put towards that purchase. And that I definitely get. I still like having my 800, but I definitely don't use it very much just because it does need good light at f11, and it's pretty limited in terms of focus distance and yeah, other things. All right, I took this trail because I heard some birds, but now I don't hear them anymore. It's probably because I'm talking, being loud. So I'll walk a bit more, see what I can find. I'm still learning how to trek and hike with my new tripod, which I want to take around more often because bug, it does come in handy. And I like to carry it obviously with the 100 to 500 mounted on it. So what I'm learning today, if I can get this, if I keep it fairly extended, I've got two leg sections extended. Thought I just heard a large mammal, like a deer. Maybe my imagination. But anyway, if I keep it extended like this, it shifts the point of the center of gravity back towards the bottom a bit. And that makes it so I can hold it with just holding one leg, assuming that joint is tight enough. So I'm near the head, but I can still just hold one leg, and that keeps it pretty well balanced. So I'm kind of liking that. And the other benefit is it's basically ready to go. So all I have to do is spread the legs and pop it up if I see something that I want to shoot. And it's a pretty tall tripod. This is the, again, the FLM, now I forget the model number, it's on here somewhere. I'll put it in a subtitle, but yeah, it's pretty tall. So even with just two legs extended, two leg segments extended, it's basically eye level for me. And I'm 6'1", so take that as you will. Okay, coming up on a stream crossing. I think I'll set up here for a minute and see if I can pish any birds out of the brush. I've been hearing some. I shot a Carolina wren. I think it was a Carolina wren. I'll throw those on here. he was cooperative. Got a little video of him singing too, like so. Yeah, so ooh, nice little waterfall on the creek here because the water level is fairly high after the rain yesterday. So okay, see what we can find around here. Well, I thought the rain had all moved through, but a light drizzle has begun, which is actually kind of refreshing. It's nice. Keeps it cool, although it's cooler than it has been. Yeah, we're going into fall, so looking forward to some good wanders out in the mountains for fall color, some more Halloween-y stuff. Yeah. But with the rain, I'm reminded the R7 here is not as weather sealed as my R5, which is what I had in Florida. And quick story there. I was in line. They have this thing called Stay and Scream if you want to get into Halloween Horror Nights early. So you basically get in a long line while they clear the park of the daytime guests, and then they let you into the Horror Night stuff a little bit early. But anyway, all that to say, I was basically totally exposed with no foul weather gear in a line I really couldn't leave if I, didn't want to give up the reason I was waiting. And a downpour, just a torrential Central Florida thunderstorm started. And it cooled me off pretty quick. I was hot up until then, but I had the R5 and I think the 24 to 105, no, the 14 to 35. Yeah, one of those L lenses anyway. And I trusted it because it was weather sealed and it held up. But I did notice the shutter button was wonky for a couple days. So it had no half press basically. As soon as I half pressed, it would actually take a picture. And that lens, whatever lens I was using, got some fog in it for a day or two as well. So, but that was a pretty heavy thunderstorm and I really had no protection at all. So can't blame it for showing a few symptoms of water incursion. But since then, it's been fine. Once the fog cleared out and the shutter button dried out, it's been good. So kudos to Canon's weather sealing. Bit of a relief. But yeah, today I can't let the R7 get too wet, so it's not raining much. I think it's actually let up the drizzle already, so I will continue. I haven't seen a whole lot. I've heard some things. Haven't been able to draw any real close to me except for that wren, which was pretty close anyway. So yeah, I'm going to continue down the trail behind me a bit. Goes to another water stream crossing. See if I can see anything there, but then I might call it a hike. So hopefully we'll see some good stuff between now and then. Stay tuned. It's a nice day out. Continuing down the trail to the stream. Still not seeing much. Did find some cooperative mushrooms along the way. Those can make interesting shots, so took some of them. I'm no mycologist, so I don't know what I'm looking at when it comes to mushrooms, but I think they're neat. Okay, I've seen some squirrels, but those don't interest me very much. In fact, like I've said before, they kind of annoy me. Not too much. They have their place. Okay, on we go. The birds continue to be uncooperative, but I did find a cute little frog, tree frog of some sort, I think. He was cooperative. So I got some nice shots of that guy. I say guy, I don't know. But anyway, yeah, the creek was okay, but kind of a dud for anything going on. So now I'm backtracking towards the car. Then it'll be lunchtime. So I won't say goodbye just yet, in case I spot anything between here and there. But some days you find stuff, some days you don't. But It's always nice to be out. Moral of the story. All right, I trudge onward. Okay, back to the car. Taking a little step because I forgot to film an outro. So yeah, off to lunch. It's a good little hike. I think I went maybe 2 miles, not too bad. Birds never did cooperate. I thought I might get lucky. I took a little shortcut, unofficial trail between 2 other trails and saw a bunch of little birds flitting about. I think they might have been American redstarts, which would have been awesome. But by the time I never did get any to come close to me, and then they kind of moved away. So I think that's it. I did find some more frogs to shoot. The trail paralleled a creek for a little while, and I thought, if the birds won't cooperate, maybe the frogs will. So got a couple, but I think I was asking a little too much of the image stabilization system at 500 millimeters, so I'm not sure how sharp they are. We'll see. But otherwise, nice little hike. Nice to be back into it. Looking forward to a good fall. Lots of places I want to hit, so stay tuned. Hopefully I'll get a little more regular about posting going forward. And in the meantime, farewell. Be kind to yourself. Take care of each other. Don't forget to be awesome. Get out and wander. Till next time.